Hello and welcome to Dad's Dad Job podcast. This is your host, Adam Neverborough, and I'm joined by Rob and Callum Horton. Guys, how are we getting on?
Evening, yeah, I'm all good. You all right?
Yeah, I'm really well. Adam, did you point at yourself while you were introducing us then? Hello, I'm Adam. And you pointed at yourself.
Did I point at myself?
Yeah.
Because I had to remind myself who I was.
Because you're the big chief.
Back in the room.
Yeah, no, I'm really good as well. I've had a lovely week, to be fair.
Good, Cal. Your favourite part of the week?
Yeah, no, I'm all good. Yeah, working hard, trying to balance everything, the same as everyone else, I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm all right.
Oh, mental.
Before we start, I just before we start talking about our weeks in more specifically and our wins and things like that, I just want to raise a glass to Ray, who is my dear friend's dad, Steve. I attended his funeral today. He's a lovely man, so I just wanted to shout him out and may he rest in peace. So he's a really good bloke, and that's where I was today. But is it okay if I jump into this week?
Yeah, you can do. I mean, hopefully it's better than a funeral shout out.
Well, I wanted to mention it just because, I mean, it was lovely to be able to be there because he was a well-loved man. And he was particularly present in my late teens, early 20s, because me and Steve were always going out, and it was always their house that we went back to.
That man put up with a hell of a lot of nonsense.
He had to put up with us, and he was very good for it as well. But he was also a prolific reader, so we got on quite well because we used to share book recommendations and stuff. So,
Bob, can I just say something? Right, I love the fact that you've given him a shout out because he definitely is, like you say, a great bloke. But like before we come on live and you go, right, lads, this is what we're going to try and discuss. Did it not come to your mind to think, I just want to do a shout out to Steve's dad?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Why did you think? No, I thought it was nice touch. It was nice.
No, it's nice touch. It's nice. It's a shame you can't hear the shout out now.
Well, Steve will be able to hear it, won't he? So Steve will know.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, no. This week has been pretty good. As Callum will be able to tell. I just want to say how amazing my wife is, her team, Callum. They got the call on Monday and they had to do a shift even more than they would usually do on Tuesday because they had Ofsted in. So I just want to say how amazing I think Kelly is and the team at the school that she works for. And congratulations, because it's all well deserved. But that was kind of like a rocket to start the week because she got the phone call on Monday. So like you can imagine Monday day, evening, Tuesday morning, and into Tuesday when she went to work. It was all crazy. So the first part of the week was really tense, but the feedback was really positive. School's going in the right direction, and I'm just really happy for her. So it's kind of like, just sort of directed the week in the right way, really. But yeah, that's kind of my week so far.
Good, yeah, because obviously it's the Ofsted pressure, isn't it? So I'm not familiar with it. I had to kind of I had to ask, didn't I, Rob, as to what actually Ofsted actually meant in a kind of idiotic way, but
just means a lot of stress, because you're having to have challenging conversations and sort of show where you are and what you're doing and why it's purposeful. And the most important thing that you want to be able to demonstrate is that what you're doing is for the benefit of the kids and the way that schools are set up and things like that. It's not always the easiest to be able to sort of communicate and prove that you're doing the right things at the right time. So the feedback seems to be really positive. So I'm really happy for her and everyone that's involved because they've had to put in a shift.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. there, Rob. Pretty much, that is it. It's pretty much you do what you normally do, but it's the added pressure or the proving it, I suppose, that it's just what you normally do. And it's also like anything, when you're working with other people, it's you've got no control of what other people do. Like for instance, kids, or I don't want to say like refer them to animals, but also like animals and stuff. Do you know what they say? They're unpredictable, but ultimately it's about the school having the right things in place to be able to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, hopefully.
I also think because you're being watched, it's called observer's paradox, right? So you would do your normal thing and live and carry out yourself in a certain way, but as soon as you're being watched, you kind of second guess everything you say. You start stuttering, or you get tongue tied, or whatever. And it's called observer's paradox. It's a real thing. It's when you're being watched, and it kind of affects the way that you're delivering what you're doing. To be fair, when I was a teacher, it used to happen to me all the time. So Kelly would come in to go into one of the cupboards or collect resources or whatever while I was teaching, because we had one of the rooms that I taught in had the key stage 3 cupboard in it. So that teachers would sometimes come in and collect resources during lessons. And whenever Kelly came in, I just literally forgot what I was doing. Like I was just like, because she was I think she was the head of the department at the time. She'd come in and I'd just be like completely sort of struck that she was there, and it would put me off. And it's a thing. It's called observer's paradox. So I get it, Cal. I know exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully, that will all the positive work will be shown, and it will be spread across our area as it should be, and it can mean positive things for the school going forward. So that's great. But yeah, so aside from that, it's that's kind of like taking up a chunk of the week because it's been such a focus. But we did have some nice times at the weekend as well, didn't we, Cal? We got to have a nice family.
It seems so ago, and it's only like 5 days ago or 4 days ago. It's nuts.
Mm.
Yeah, I forgot that we actually went out for dinner.
And what about you, Adam? You had a nice weekend, didn't you, mate?
I did, yeah. So it was a very very special, monumental birthday. So it was my daughter's 3rd birthday, and we had a family round on the weekend.
Monumental.
And it was nice. Mate, yeah, when you've gone through 3 years, it's monumental. But no, it was a good family weekend. Family goals wise, brilliant, because obviously there's been quite a few family members that we haven't seen over that duration, and
they've been in prison.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Selling dodgy second-hand cars.
It's our sponsor. I hope he's well.
No, he can't sponsor us. So basically, it was good to spend some good quality time with them, and we had quite a bit to drink, which makes a change, despite me being on a teetotal run at the minute. So I broke that, we had played lots of games. We had a little buffet for Connie and done the birthday cake, and she was really excited. So yeah, it was really, really good birthday. And to follow on from that, it was Kerry's birthday yesterday. So so we had Connie and Kerry within the space of 4 days. So it was, but it's hard. Expensive. It's hard to. No, I wouldn't say it was expensive. I think it was just. It's just hard to try and find a way to kind of celebrate everyone's birthday at not at the same time, but obviously individually, because they're clustered together. It's hard to because it's a 3-year-old's birthday, all your emphasis is on her and making her happy, and Kerry kind of felt a bit like an afterthought as such, which is not particularly true, but it would come across that way. I mean, obviously the older you get, your birthdays become less important in general. And you decide to do less because you've got a kid that needs to be in bed by 7:15, or not 7:15, like 7 o'clock. So
that's your bedtime, 7:15.
That is my bedtime. Yeah, you've got me bang on. But I think it's just, I think you just got to try and make the best of it of what you can and just spend that quality time as much as possible. But that was the family goals. I mean, I'm taking Kerry out on Saturday to a nice Thai restaurant in Bishop Stortford, so that should be good. Have a bit of quality adult time really while Connie's been looked after by her mum and dad. But so it'll be good. That'd be good to do that. But I do have an own goal. So on Friday, Connie wanted a heart party, like for her birthday. Wanted that heart decorations, balloons, the works, right? So we've gone and decorated the house. So obviously these decorations will stay up now until Valentine's Day around the house because she just won't want them taken down. But as we've had our dinner and we've got we need to start doing the decorations. I was given the task of blowing up the balloons. So Kerry said, "Oh, I don't know where I got these balloons from. They're cheap and whatever. Like just blow them up or whatever." So everyone's doing all the other decorations. Yeah, I have got asthma. But as I was doing the first balloon, I was talking, I was blowing it, and then it exploded in my eye.
So what are we talking about?
the heart-shaped balloon. A heart-shaped balloon I blew up, and I literally blew it up like twice, but it just exploded in my eye to the point my eye was completely red. The whole side of my face was just exploded, just swollen, and I went to the bathroom just to kind of put some water on and check it out. I looked in there, and my eyelashes have been removed. So the latex had burnt the side of my face, and all my eyelashes have moved. So I've got half an eye with no eyelashes.
You know they won't ever grow back.
Well, they're blonde, so I might get away with it. But I ain't got no eyebrows looking at this camera, so it's just about getting away with it.
That, mate. My eyebrows don't exist, bro.
But yeah, my eyelashes burnt off in the latex explosion in my face. I mean, those that are just tuning in now, hearing latex explosion in my face, they could probably think, "Oh, what's he talking about here?" But yeah, so that was my own goal. But obviously, I get zero sympathy. I'm a child. I should know how to blow a balloon up. so that's what I got all weekend from everyone, not just particular people, but everyone. They're basically saying, "Need to man up and know how to blow a balloon up." But have you ever blown up heart-shaped balloons, like when they've not been blown up? Like have you seen them unblown, like when you get them out the packet, ready to blow up?
No, I can see where this is going. Have you got one?
I haven't got one, no. But I looked at it, I was like, "Kel, have you got the right balloons here?" And she went, "What?" I went, "You got the right balloons." And picked them up. It looked like a saggy ball sack. And I'm like, I feel a bit uneasy blowing these up.
Yeah, I bet you did.
It's just hilarious.
As it went off in your eye.
Yeah, and then as you blow them up, they look like a complete different effect. So it looks like a couple of breasts. So it was like, what the hell are these balloons? But yeah, it was definitely an Only Fools and Horses blow up dolls moment in my face on Friday night. But yeah, no.
So have you kept a packet of them to yourself for another day?
You know what? I'm going to blow it up on the right side of my face, and then I've got even half eyelashes. That would be great. That would be great. So it was a 3-1. It was a 3-1 loss for me with an own goal in the 90th minute. That 3-1 win with an own goal in the 90th minute.
Sounds
this weekend. What was your scores in relation to your weekends?
Well, I think I am up. I think I'm going to go 2-1. So 2-1 because we did the family dinner, loved that, and Rosie, our sister, is expecting, and they were all talking very excitedly about her baby shower. And I turned to Lee, my brother-in-law, and I said, "Lee, we should be doing a baby shower for you." So we are currently trying to arrange a lads' day where we go and watch Palace. I think Arsenal Palace. It's just the weekends that we're all available. It's the weekend where we're available.
That's wet the baby's head, isn't it? You're supposed to do it after.
No, that's
I know.
afterwards. That's another party.
You know what? We live in a demographic society, and it's equal. So we want a baby shower as well, and we're going to have one. So that was the first goal. Lovely family dinner, lads' baby shower. But then I think I spoke about it on the pod last week. We took the kids to 66 books, right? And it was amazing. We spent. I posted about it on the Instagram feed. We spent £400, but then with the 70% deduction, it was £120, and we bought £400 worth of books. And I swear to God, guys. So for me personally, I think I bought 6 books. I bought some absolute bangers. I bought two Cormac McCarthy books, which I've already read, but I like the covers, and like some other bits and pieces. Kelly picked up a couple of books, and then Danny got some like graphic novels. He got a Deadpool comic, and then he got a classics comic. So it had like Robin Hood, but in like comic form. So he picked up those, and then Alea just got an absolute ton of books. But it was amazing. It was like amazing. It was like a treasure trove because none of the books were organized. So whatever you found was where you found it. And I would highly recommend taking your kids. Like, it is amazing. However, because that's a bit of a rant, right? But kids just
dad rant alert. Dad rant alert.
I recording one actually, but like, why can't kids just do what you ask them to do? I don't understand. Like, I just don't. Just do what you're told. Just do what you're told. Like, it's not hard, is it? Get up in the morning.
Hold on. Let's do this professionally. Hold on. Let's do a warning trigger here. Let's do this properly. Here we go.
Dad rant alert. Listen.
There we go.
That should be a segment.
Dad rant alert. Well, if people follow our Instagram page, you'll be able to see our highlights of our dad rants, especially Mole digging the hole, which I haven't read for a good 4 months since that rant now. So.
Yeah, you need to add some dad rants, because this is my dad rant, right? Kids don't listen, right? And they just think they know more.
Really grind my gears.
Listen, mate, you have not been on this earth longer than me. You don't know better than me, all right? In fact, I am the oracle, right? Treat me as the oracle. I am trying to help you, right? So my son, right? I'm glad I'm on camera for this, because now you can kind of see just how frustrating it is, right? So Danny's getting to that age now where he can't take liberties with his skin, right? So he needs to make sure that he's like exfoliating every day, right? Because he's at that age now where if he doesn't, he's going to get spots, right? So I'm like, Danny, this is how you wash your face, right? This is what you got to do. You wet your face so it's warm. You exfoliate. You get the exfoliate, and you give it a really good like scrub, right? And then you wash it off, and then you put moisturizing cream on, right? Because he is the type of kid that will get spots if he doesn't.
Listeners, just so you know, right? Rob is actually 72, but his skincare routine is so good. He only looks 38.
Absolutely banging. I've only got
you know what I was going to say? I was going to question whether he was a 14-year-old West Ham fan.
But anyway, right? So listen, I've gone through this. I've told him how to do it so many times, right? So many, right? And he gets into the bathroom, and we have to get him up at 6 o'clock, right? Otherwise, he is not going to be ready for school. If that boy had to get a bus to school, he wouldn't make it, right? So he gets into the bathroom, right? He barely splashes his face, and then he puts the exfoliating cream on. And I swear to God, this is how he's trying to apply this exfoliating cream. He's going like this, and I'm like, mate, this ain't essential massage, right? You need to scrub your face. And then he looks at me like I've walked in on Christmas Day and stamped on all of his presents. And I'm like, listen, you are going to wash your face properly, all right? So then he like looks at me, and then he's like, he does this like really fast, really aggressive. And then he looks at me to say, what do you think about that? And actually, I'm like, that's exactly what I want you to do. So do that, clean your face, wash it, get the water off, fix your attitude, and put some moisturizing cream on. And now get downstairs to breakfast so we can have the next argument. And that's my mornings, guys. So, in fact, I could probably be 5-2 down because that is every morning.
If that's your result every week or every day, then what do you need to change to change the result?
I need to get a new defender, don't I? Stop conceding.
You know what you need? You need a number 9. That's what you need. You need a number 9.
Outscore the.
That's exactly what you need to do.
And we'll get into that later.
Have you ever thought about letting him just get spots and go, there you go, mate?
No, because he doesn't care enough. I care more. He will care more eventually when he understands, right? We are getting there. But it has been a slow process.
Well,
he knows he's out of love. He knows he's out of love, but he is not a 6. He is not a 6 a.m. guy. But the problem is, he's not a 7 a.m. guy or an 8 a.m. guy either. So,
you should drop him off at school wearing a dressing gown and a face mask, like a cucumber face mask.
He'd think it was a flex.
Rob, can you remember when we had to get up at like 6 o'clock to get the bus, the 86 bus?
Yeah,
and we'd be like running.
We weren't getting a school, mate.
No, this is it. Like
86. I remember 86.
Yeah,
you get 86 to Romford, didn't you?
Yeah, 86 to Romford. Yeah, London Road. Yeah,
that's it.
We used to have to walk down to the Upton Park, get the 58 or the 330 to the top, and then get the 86 from was it Stratford Police Station? Or was it Forest Gate Police Station?
No, it's Plaistow, isn't it?
No.
So your Forest Gate is it? No,
it must have been Stratford Police Station.
No, it wasn't. It's not that. What's that place? That's that police station at the top of the East Ham High Street.
Green Street. Top of Green Street, wasn't it? That police station, anyway. It wasn't too far from Manor Park, was it?
It might be Manor Park Police Station.
But yeah, that's where we were.
Or 173 crew.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least 173. Jesus. Go through. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that.
But yeah, dad rant's over now. Unless anyone else has got a dad rant.
You were lucky. You got a bus to school. I had to walk. Every day. 15 meters it was because I lived opposite the school.
I was going to say 15 miles.
In the snow, mate. I had to walk 15 meters across the road. I had to wait for the lights for the pedestrian crossing, and then I was in the school.
That is, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, kids don't realise how good they've got it nowadays, do they?
Mate, some days I didn't get home till 7.
Yeah.
If the traffic was bad, we didn't get home till 7.
And you never wanted after school detention. Oh my God. Never an hour's detention after school ever.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Right, okay, so Cal, you got any more dad rants or family goals?
No, I've got my goal of the week though.
I got him.
So, well, first off,
he scores.
Well, I like to say I'm going to say 3-1 up because obviously we had the meal, yes, which was basically celebrating all 3 of our birthdays. So my sister's, Lee, and my birthday over January. It was a chance for us all to meet up. Actually, I can't remember what my third one was, but I'll do the 2. The where they've equalised was I know I keep saying it's like almost like every week, but Bo unfortunately was ill again, so ill that I had to take 3 days off work, unpaid as well, which was a killer. But yeah, he was unwell. He had I don't know if it's going about if any of you've had it, but like at work, loads of the kids are going down with like this weird fever. Where we've been battling this fever for like literally, it must be 10 days. Literally like 10 days trying to battle this fever. Obviously, the days I've had off was just like we just couldn't. It was almost like even Cowboy couldn't get it down. But it was like he's like been battling it with this cough. But obviously, hopefully, touch wood, he's actually through it now. So that was pretty bad, especially like say them 3 days I had off with him, because you know when they're just miserable and you sort of give them a cowpaw and they're right for like maybe half hour, an hour, and then it starts wearing off and it's like they start getting aggy again, and you've got to try and sort of manage them, but you also don't want them to sleep because they won't sleep later, but then they're not sleeping during the night, and it's like, oh yeah. Anyway, we had that, and then so this week, so basically the nursery have started this new thing where they do like Star of the Week. So they've been doing it for a few weeks. Anyway, his key worker came out and said tonight that basically he's won it for this week because he's been going up to, like, they call it like the green room. So it's like the age group older. So like the ones that start getting ready to go to school, or some of them go to school while others stay. But where he's been going up to them, he's been sort of going between the two, like transition days. I'm not explaining this very well, but basically she's just said that she's seen like such a massive improvement in sort of Bo and how he behaves and what he's doing and the tidying up. He said like all the kids downstairs in his normal room sort of are not listening, but he's sort of going around tidying up, helping people out, and sharing, and she reckons just thinks that being upstairs has had such a big and good influence on him. So much so that she said that he's just been amazing, and that she's awarded him this Star of the Week. So, and he's, like I say, he's never had it before, and it's been going on a few weeks. So it's it's so nice just to hear that your kid's doing well, and and hopefully doing the things that you want him to do. Like, I want him to be clever, but ultimately I just want him to be a good person. Do you know what I mean? And that's basically what you're saying. Like, he's just kind, helpful. He's listening to instruction. He tidied up. And that's just the golden for me. That's what we want, really. Do you know what I mean? And the rest will fall into place as it comes. So chuffed.
That's good. Yeah. Is he moving up? Is he in like different classes or anything like that?
So So that's what I'm saying. So he's sort of on the border of sort of moving up to the upstairs room where they've got sort of like, he would be the youngest. So I think it goes like, so he's 3. So I think it goes like 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe. And then obviously it goes older after that, but it's sort of like that sort of step up. Or they do, like I say, they try and do it over, a few months period of time before they actually go up. So they sort of just been bleeding him in, but apparently, he loves it. So it's good. I think he likes the sort of modelling from the older kids, and like he likes, like all his cousins are older, aren't they? So I suppose he's used to being around the older kids as well. I think it was just really nice that she just was like, had this glowing report about him. So I was just saying, as I always pick Bo up, it's a shame. I really would like Heather to pick him up to hear what she was saying. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously I get to hear it, but Heather don't get to hear it. So it's class. Yeah, really nice.
That's good, mate. That's good. Yeah, Connie's in the same boat. Like, she's going to move up classes next week, and it's quite sad, really, because that's the last room that she'll ever move up in, and then it's school after that. Just quickly, our time just passes by, isn't it?
Yeah, but, I think that is the same as Bo. I think, as you say, like 5 and 6 is obviously, as you just said, this when they start. They do the first bit in the nursery because their parents work or whatever, and then the nursery drive them to school and then pick them up for the evening stuff, and then they get, what I mean? Yeah, it's scary, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy. I don't know how Rob feels. I think it's nuts. Where you think, oh my God, like we've had, Bo for 3 years now, and you're in the same boat, Adam, but then like Rob's got basically a teenager. You think, Jesus, I remember, Danny in the caravan, that first ever holiday we went on all together, and when he was 18 months, you think, Jesus, it doesn't even seem that long ago.
Yeah, I mean,
how good are those holidays though?
Oh, caravan holidays.
How good are those holidays in the caravan? Like,
yeah, 100%. Me and Callum used to love caravan holidays with our nan and granddad, mate. Yeah, those holidays were banging.
They're some of the best. They are probably some of the best memories as kids.
We used to go down to Chichester.
Yeah. And
just used to live our best lives, mate.
Yeah, and that ice cream parlour right opposite the beach. They do this. Like they talk about like banana splits or ice cream sundaes or whatever. Like they talk about them now, mate. This ice, you know, like a fruit bowl, like a proper fruit bowl, not like these Mickey Mouse fruit bowls. I'm talking about proper. And that literally, it would have like something like 30 odd. No, maybe that's ridiculous. Maybe not, but like say 10 scoops of ice cream with like 3 whole bananas, and like, and then it was ridiculous. And then we'd buy it, and we would just sit there. I mean, we were fat kids anyway, but like we would sit there and just eat the whole thing. But it'd have like, I'm not joking you. You know, like you have these little chunks of brownies in it. This would have like 4 brownies in it, and it'd have like 5 or 6 brownies in it. I mean, like proper, like, you know.
It was senseless.
It was.
And would be like, yeah, get it. And it would be the biggest dessert. It was literally the biggest dessert. I think even then, so it was probably, 20, how old are we now? 38. So it was probably 25 years ago that we were going, right? And even then, this dessert was probably like 10 quid.
Yeah,
right?
easy.
That's 25 years ago. So this dessert was massive, right? It was huge. And it was obscene, really. And it was obscene.
Right? And we'd eat the whole lot and then still have dinner when we got home. That's how fat we were. It's ridiculous.
Fatty bum bum.
I'll tell you a true story, right? This is true. I was so fat, right? I remember going down to the beach when I was down there, and I was only like,
tell them about
early teens.
You went down to the beach and you was harpooned.
No, Adam, listen to this. You'll think this is funny, right? But I was fat. I was a fat kid, right? I was only probably maybe 11 or 12. I remember going to the beach, and you know where you're self-conscious, right? Yeah. I went down to the beach, but it was so hot that because I was self-conscious, I didn't want to take my top off, so I rolled it up. Right, so my boobs were still covered, but just had my belly out because I was too conscious to take my top off. But it was too hot not to take my top off.
The best one was right. Yeah, listen. Yeah, when we were, I don't know how old we were. I must have been about 13. Right, so Callum was probably about 11. My mum went to Australia to see her brother. Right.
Oh no, this is
awful. How long was she there? How long was she there for? She
was only there 3 days.
In Australia.
How long was she there for?
Well, I think she was there. I think she went for a month, didn't she?
I know she was there for a while, right? So she was there for long enough where it could have impact.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe 3 weeks.
And she went over there with my little sister Rosie, and
the chosen one.
When she came back, Dad was just like, we're having takeaways, right?
Every night.
It was the time of our lives. Right? And then when my mum
we was having about 5 iron brews a day because they were like 19p an iron brew.
And she came home, right? My mum came home. She took one look at Callum and started crying.
This is true, Adam. This is a true story. She cried. She went, Bob, what have you done to him? What have you done to him? This is true. It's not even a joke.
He came in, he slivered in like Jabba the Hutt.
Mate, I put so much weight
I weren't much better, by the way. I was not much better off.
Yeah, Mum cried. When she saw me, she cried because she was like, why is, like, he's put on so much weight? Yeah. Not that I ever had an eating disorder in my early teens, and now, like, I watch everything I eat now, but yeah, it wasn't the greatest time.
They were the best.
Yeah, not so great, is it? I mean, nobody wants a fat kid flashback, do they?
No.
Flashback.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, based on
character building,
flashbacks, character building. Based on flashbacks, Arsenal received another red card at the weekend.
Yep.
Which.
Adam, why don't you start us off? Why don't you start us off on this? Because it's obvious what you're going to say. So.
No. Oh, well, my take on it.
Yeah.
I
think it was a red card.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think it. I'm gonna open myself
even
up
though
here.
It's on the other 18-yard box.
When I look at the challenge again, and when I look at the
Adam, anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just think looking at the challenge again, and even in VAR, it studs up, and he's got no intent to get that ball at all. I think it's a harsh punishment, a yellow maybe, but looking at it again on slow-mo and in VAR, I thought at the time, yeah, I do think it's a red card. And I know you'll have your different views, and there's clear that, obviously based on what's happened this week, they've rescinded the red card.
How much is Mike Oliver
sorry, no, he's fishing there. It's not based
I'm not.
Not based on what's happened this week. An independent adjudicator has sanctioned it a non-red. It's not because. Don't start sounding like Gary Neville. It's not.
No. Has it been rescinded?
Yeah.
Oh right. So I was right then. What I said.
No, because it's not because of what happened this week. Arsenal always feel it, and an independent adjudicator has agreed with Arsenal that it was not a red card. It's not because of what happened this week. Nothing has happened this week.
No, when I mean what happened this week, I mean based on the game that has occurred. I'm not getting myself out of hole here. I'm just saying based on the game that's occurred and based on previous as well, that the card has been rescinded because obviously through the backlash and, like say, the independent adjudicator are looking at it, it's clear that the decision was by the referee wasn't right. And it's been rectified, and luckily you didn't lose a game because of that. You didn't lose 3 points or 2 points in that way. But if he was on the field, would you have won by a greater goal margin as well? So is that taken into consideration? Like, say for instance, it goes down to the last day of the season, and you lose the Premier League by 1 goal. You know, if you won that game 2-0 or 3-0 against Wolves, who are bang out of form at the minute, you would be Premier League champions right now. So that's a decision that could have a knock-on effect. But in my opinion, I'm not fishing, I'm not baiting or whatever. My instant thing was I thought that was a red card, but obviously, I think
that Skelly's probably the first person to ever be sent off for a professional foul or a tactical foul, and he was outside the opponent's box, home, like goalkeeper's box, so or the penalty area, sorry. So I think it was I think it was an absolutely ridiculous decision. Forget all the other decisions, because Mark Oliver has got a history of poor decisions against Arsenal. But even if you separate them, you had Mark Oliver who made the wrong decision, and then you had, and I forgot the VAR referee's name as well, but he then did not question Mark Oliver's decision. And I kind of feel like this whole PGMO thing is like a boys' club, because you had, I can't remember who the other ref was, but there was it Mike Dean didn't want to send his mate to the screen because he didn't want to undermine him on in the game. And I'm just kind of like, and he did say that. He said that on, I think it was Sky. Right. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, it kind of just questions, it just brings into question the whole integrity of the PGMOL, and it just looks like a boys' club that is protecting the boys or protecting the lads. And I suppose I was really pissed off about this, because initially there was this thunderstorm of support for this sending off. It was not a sending off. This is a wrong decision. And then within about 24 hours, the boys' club had reared its ugly head. And then all of a sudden, we had all these different news reporters painting 18-year-old Skelly as some sort of villain who had gone out to kind of like absolutely destroy Matt Doherty. No, at the very worst, it was a professional foul. He knew what he was doing. He was going to suffer the yellow, just like, every other team in the Premier League does, right? I don't have a problem with it being a yellow, right? But that type of thing then has to be consistent, because if you're going to judge that as a red, right, make Skelly accountable for it. There are so many examples of worse things that have happened to Arsenal that have not even been yellows. There's that famous picture of, or the famous video of, I can't remember what football player was, absolutely battering Saka, and wasn't even a yellow. Some of the stuff that Joe Linton has done to Arsenal players, not even a yellow, right? There is a complete lack of consistency. Not in here.
Oh. There you go. Here comes a dad rant.
I think it sounds like a mum rant, but that's
and there's a complete lack of consistency in what is measurable as a yellow or a red. And every fan feels like they get the worst cut of the decisions. But actually, and this is what I had an argument with a Newcastle fan on X the other day. He went fishing and he caught me, but I was all in by this point. But there's got to come a point where tribalism needs to be put aside, and actually the PGML needs to be held to account. The refs aren't good enough, the VAR aren't good enough, and teams are suffering points or are leaking points. And I don't subscribe to the idea where we should be saying, oh, well, it happens to everyone, so we should just get on with it. No, fuck that. It shouldn't happen to everyone. Your decisions should be better. Decision making should be better. Accountability should be better. And actually, if you're a poor ref, you shouldn't be allowed to ref. And then that way, the standard would improve. If there's no accountability, then how can And then I have the feeling like I'm not a big. I want to go and watch Arsenal play football, right? I'm not a big stadium fan, all right? So I'm kind of on the fence, I suppose, with that. But if you've got people who are spending hundreds of pounds to go and watch that, it's bad enough if your team's not playing well. But then if the referees are shit as well, it's just crap. So, and then there's this whole. I am echoing on someone's computer. Can anyone else hear that? I'm going to turn myself.
Might be cows. We're on loudspeaker on your phone, mate.
No.
I'll turn myself down.
No.
Right,
No.
okay. So, the reporters are saying that Arsenal fans took it too far. There was a couple of things where, and I'm very aware that Mark Oliver did have like a police escort outside of his house, but there was an article written by a Mail Online reporter, and he was like saying that Arsenal fans are taking it too far. Mark Oliver has received death threats. Someone said that they were going to blow up his car. All of that is disgusting, right? The problem was that was Man United and Liverpool fans from previous, and they just linked it to an Arsenal story. It's like so contrived, and it just pisses me off. And then I'm going to move on to Gary Neville, if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Gary Neville is Dickhead of the Week because he's was silent during this whole PGMO thing. Didn't say anything about what was going on, and then he comes out and he says that Arsenal fans are entitled for the way that they hound referees on social media. All right. Well, first of all, social media is a free platform. Don't like it, don't go on it, don't look. Right. But then I also think that Gary Neville has clearly forgot who he was managed by. All right, because Man United and the players and his manager were famous for battering referees. You think about Fergie times, right? Then also, let's not forget what happened in that game where Arsenal were 49 games unbeaten in the Premier League. We're going for the 50th, and the absolute shit show at Old Trafford, right? With the referee as well, by the way. Gary Neville called for Clattenburg to resign after he joined Forest as some sort of, advisor. And he's a PGML spokesperson, champagne socialist sellout. And that's exactly how I feel about Gary Neville. He's an absolute bellend. Not to mention Haaland screaming in the face of every ref possible whenever he doesn't get a decision that he wants. It just pisses me off. Like, it's a complete lack of consistency with the way that teams are treated in the media. And I feel like Arsenal are the easy get every single time. I feel better.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on that. Listen, I just don't like when is he going to be what's the word, investigated? Because I mean, everyone's seen the videos on social media and all the stuff that he's been given. The whole I don't want to ruin the game to
Kovacic.
Huh?
It was Kovacic.
Yeah, like I'm just sorry. It's just ridiculous. Some of the stuff that he's done is shocking. The Arsenal thing again with you talk about this one. I think the header was even worse when they gave the penalty for the header with is it Saliba? I've watched that so many times and gone, I don't understand. I don't understand. That's
Cal. You know it's bad when John Terry was like, I don't understand what happened.
no. This is it. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I think that's even worse than this one. Again, I know Adam's going to say, or Adam did say, sorry, that he sort of trod down his leg. I'm not going to lie to you. You see it in Sunday League. Yeah, that's no one's
Cal,
getting sent off for that.
But Cal, in the same game, that guy got sent off and was given a second yellow.
Yeah,
for exactly the same challenge.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Exactly the same challenge.
Yeah,
but in the same game.
Well, I don't know. The thing is, right? Do you know what? I'm getting so umpy with decision, and it's not just Arsenal's decision. I watch other games. I just think, what the hell is going on here? Where I was talking to the old man about it. Where I was just like, I actually don't want to watch Premier League football anymore.
That's the thing. That's what I mean. There's got to come a point.
I'd rather just go.
Point where you set your tribalism aside and be like, it's not good enough.
No, and I just join it. I said to the old man, I'd rather just go and watch like Housted or Boreham Wood or a lower league team where it's just more honest. Like it's just more honest. Like, honestly,
yeah,
I'm so fed up with it.
I had this debate with an Arsenal fan that I work with this week, and he actually said he prefers a lot of the Champions League games because they kind of give those. There's a tolerance of letting the play continue by letting those cynical fouls go, and then potentially punishing them later on. Whereas the Premier League,
the referee that looks like Trossard. The referee that looks like Trossard.
Yeah, there's a famous picture of him, haven't there?
Mate, that referee is absolutely banging. He is an incredible referee. And like there needs to be more like I don't subscribe to this idea. I don't subscribe to this idea that we should be
Look at that. Got a viewer from Pittsburgh. How about that?
Josh Pittsburgh.
Worldwide.
I don't subscribe to this idea that we should be getting European referees in. Like I don't have an issue with there being European referees, right? But I do also think it's important that there's an infrastructure where British referees can come through. I do think there's an issue that most of the referees are sort of north of the Midlands, right? And I do think that there is an issue with that. I do think there needs to be some sort of integration of or elevation of southern referees as well. But the quality is so bad, and it's not even up for debate anymore. Like it's not even up for debate. When people say, "Oh, Mark Oliver is not the Mark Oliver is the best referee in the league," it's disgusting that Mark Oliver is now been removed from the Arsenal Man City game. That's absolute bollocks. Do you know how rare it is for a referee to ref the same team 2 games in a row? It is so rare it doesn't happen, right? I don't know if it's an unwritten rule, but basically refs don't ref the same team 2 games in a row. So Mark Oliver was probably never going to referee Arsenal Man City. Had nothing to do with this fallout from Wolves, right? He was probably not going to referee the game. And so it's all these like little details where it's like demonizing Arsenal fans, right? Like Arsenal, and by the way, I want to make it very clear. Threatening a referee is absolutely ridiculous and will do nothing to solve the problem or the greater issue. It's just stupid social media talk, right? For the most part, and some of them they might be serious, right? And that's a difficult line that people have to navigate, or the authorities would have to navigate. But sorry, I've lost my train of thought now. But
Rob, do you think it's got to such a level with Oliver that he can't referee an Arsenal game now because of how much media attention it's now got, all the stuff on TikTok and Instagram?
I think what Oliver's problem is, I don't care if I don't want him to referee another Arsenal game, right? But I don't think that means he shouldn't, right? And I mean that.
But do you think if he does now, there's always going to be do you reckon there would be a bias from him as well as?
I don't know. I think the problem is he's sent off 8 Arsenal players, right? In his 50 or 60 matches, and I think for the same number for Liverpool and Man City, he sent off 1, right? And some of the sending offs he had against Arsenal, you're just not likely to see again. Like sending off a player for a tactical foul at a penalty at the opponent's penalty area. You're never going to see that again. The Martinelli double yellow, you're never going to see that again, right? Like it's just stupid red cards that
Declan Rice kicking the ball away.
Which and I get
Trossard.
it, but and with the Trossard one, I just think even then I think it's just not. And in the same game, I think Doku kicked a ball away and didn't get booked. Like it's so inconsistent. And you know, when we say we want these people to be held to account, it's not because I just want result. I don't just want decisions going in Arsenal's favour. I just want a better quality of fucking game management. Like if it's a yellow card when he does it, it's a yellow card when he does it. All right? Don't choose and don't say I don't want to impact the game and then impact the game. Don't do that. It's not hard. You know, like you get to choose when you influence the game, but it feels like you influence the game more when it's certain teams. And Gary O'Neill said it last year and nearly got absolutely battered for it. So it's not. I'm not saying it's just an Arsenal problem. Was it Gary O'Neill who said it last year?
Wolves manager. The trouble is, there's so many, isn't it? And the whole idea of VAR was to reduce it, and it's almost made it worse
because they don't want to question their mates.
That's the problem, isn't it? You need VAR needs to be
independent of the PGMOL.
An organisation which is not. It's there to help referees, but not to side with them either. Like to get them out of jail. And sometimes the technology is there to be interpreted however they interpret it. So even the rule book, there's certain rules in there that are black and white, but there's always two different meanings and understandings as to how to read that. Like a handball, like what's the definition of a handball? You could have it on if you can have it on that side of your bicep. If it's in the shirt, it's not classed as handball. But then if you play that game in an FA Cup where there's no VAR in there to take that into account, it's handball. It stops the play, and then someone else loses that advantage for it being a clear handball. So it's just so it's just an interpretation, isn't it? Now we've got all the technology in the world, but sometimes human error is probably the best way for it to be confirmed. Like all we're doing is looking at it, scrutinising it, taking an age, delaying the game, and then it kills the atmosphere in football games, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's the problem, isn't it? Because you celebrate it when we're so tribal that we celebrate it when it happens to somebody else, when actually we should be calling it out. Like when Bruno, and I'll be honest with this one, when Bruno Fernandes's red card got overturned, I was really pleased. I can't remember what game it was, and I can't remember the situation, but I remember looking at it and going, that ain't no red card. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Was that the FA Cup game?
I don't know. He got 2 red cards in 2 weeks, didn't he? And one of them got rescinded, I think.
Yeah.
But I remember looking at it and going, that ain't a fucking red card. Like, what the hell is going on? That's embarrassing. And I feel the same way about the Skelly one. Like, and like I said, I know I'm not a massive stadium person. I like to go to the Emirates, but I'm not great in those big environments, right? But imagine going every week. That's expensive. Imagine being a season ticket holder, or imagine being a one-off fan and you've finally got a ticket on Red membership, and then you go and something shit like that happens, and it's not the game that you wanted to go and see. Like, it just drives me mad because some of these refs apparently, I mean, and obviously I'm only quoting what I've heard, but apparently these refs are on like $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
$500,000. And
I think each Premier League club contribute a certain amount of cash into a pot for the Premier League Referees Association or something like that.
Well, that's an issue as well. Then no wonder they're pissed off. And then imagine being I suppose there's this romantic idea that most football fans are working class people, right? That's probably not true. But imagine being one of those like working class people, and it's costing you $100+ to take your kid or your mate, go with your mate or your partner or whoever you're going to watch football with. And it's costing you 50 or 60 quid for yourself just to get in the room, right? If you're going with somebody else, it might be 120. If you're taking a kid or a partner or whatever, 120 quid just to get in, buy a drink. You're spending 150, 160 quid, and you're not. And the ref is the main character. If I go to watch Arsenal, I want to see Odegaard do his thing, not what Mark Oliver's doing. So, all right. Anyway,
I think there's a lot to mate. I think that bloke's got a lot to answer for. I'm sorry, like I don't think it's a coincidence. Not the stuff that I've seen, and I know people are going to go, "Oh, you're just jumping on the social media stuff," but
you ain't on social media.
but I just can't see how. If that was a criminal doing something, right, or someone else doing something, the police would investigate it. I'm not saying the police should investigate what he's doing, but what I'm trying to say is, like, there's got to be someone looking at it and going, well, that's more than a coincidence, or why is there 8 or 9 different things that he's all done against? Would they be able to find 8 or 9 different things that he's done against West Ham, or he's done against? I doubt it. Do you know what I mean?
You'll never see that Martinelli double yellow ever again.
I don't think you'll ever see the header one ever again. I can't get. I'm really sorry. I just can't get my head around that header one. I don't get it. I'm sorry.
All right, Sean, we're going to move on. All right.
I was gonna say, it sounds like a bit of a Sean Dyche sound of that.
Sean Dyche is back.
The thing is, when you sit up, Cal, I'm talking like you ain't here. Cal, when you sit up, you sound okay. When you get all comfortable and go like,
yeah, it's when your gut starts to come, mate.
It's because I've been up since 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry, mate.
Before we talk about transfers, can I just do a quick shout out for Ethan Ranieri, please?
Well, where's he going?
He's not going anywhere.
From Real Madrid.
First of all, he's just so wow. That Champions League goal he scored yesterday had it was just wonderful, and I think it shows that the potential that he. I mean, we've all seen his potential, but a real gem. And just to kind of show you the company that he's at 17. I'm not sure when he turns 18, but at 17 and the same ages, this is the company he's keeping. He has 6 goal contributions for Arsenal, and that is only currently bettered by Fabregas on 8 and Saka on 15. And by the way, what the hell was Saka doing at 17 to have 15 goal contributions for Arsenal playing from left back? So I just wanted to shout Nuneri out because what an absolute player. And I know we're going to talk about transfers, but with the likes of Skelly and this potential, I think it's Naipan, I think that's his name, that we might be buying.
Naipan.
Is that his name, Naipan? The Norwegian.
Naipan. Looks like something you get from T-Fell, mate.
Huh?
Looks like something you get from T-Fell.
You're talking about the
Norwegian.
The Wonder Kid. Yeah.
So I just think that there's a lovely sort of midfield coming through there as well. So
I think Arteta's already got
Arteta's cooking
his
next gen
rebuild. Yeah, his next rebuild or his next
because he's
generation.
a left midfielder as well. I think Naipan. So
yeah.
But yeah, do you want to talk about transfers first, Adam?
Sorry, you just completely missed my joke there. I'm really disappointed.
Sorry, mate. We're talking about big boy stuff.
Yeah, I know, but like Naipan, I'll say, who's his brother? Saucepan? Frying pan? No,
I did hear that, mate. I just chose to ignore it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. Oh, well, we got a new watcher on the feed. Hello, Terry. How you getting on? Let me just when this loads. Yeah, seeing all these people. Look at all us, all our free viewers.
Oh, free. That's great. That's good. 3 is more than 2.
Oh, God, StreamYard is so hard to kind of get time to get. Oh, I've clicked the comments thing so many times. Right, hold on. Here we go. And there he is. Hello, Terry. How you doing, mate? You all good? Hope you're doing well. Callum's available for bar mitzvahs and parties for more YouTube collaborations.
Terry.
Yeah, that's it. And you can have more rows with Man United fans as well. That was I must admit I listened to that episode where you went on there, and I was listening to it on the plane coming home, and I was like, Cal is completely holding his own against this completely delusional fan. But yeah, that was good. Yeah, so what I was going to touch on in terms of next topic was Graham Potter working his magic for West Ham. So, as you know, he's only been in the job 3 games, 2 losses. Yep, working his magic, typical West Ham fashion. But in my sort of from the 2 weeks that he's been in charge, I believe that he's definitely got a tune out of the squad. By playing with more intensity, the team want to play for him, and it's great. And seeing a rejuvenated Lucas Paquetá is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, fantastic. The 2 performances he had against Aston Villa, one in the FA Cup where he scored, and then the other one recently where we drew 1-1. He's just a completely different player than what we've seen over the past 18 months, really. Under Moyes towards the end of his tenure, and even Lopetegui at the start of this season, it's a completely different player. And I think Potter's got the entire best out of him. But it's not just Paquetá, in terms of the heading. It's also Alvarez. Alvarez, I'm been his biggest critic for the past 2 years, but I've seen a significant improvement in the past 2 weeks than I have for 2 years, and it's fantastic to see. And it only makes you wonder what will happen to West Ham once we start getting a few more players through the door. But yeah, what's your thoughts? You've got me.
Do you think Moyes would have won any of them games if he took over and it wasn't Potter? Same, you brought Moyes back and it wasn't Potter. Do you reckon he would have got results out of the games, the three losses in 2 games? I'd say he's gone straight into Everton, got results at Everton. Do you reckon he would have been able to do that with yours?
The thing is with West Ham and David Moyes is the fact that the time had come to move on. We needed a new direction. We needed a new not legacy, but we needed a bit more stability back in a new manager. The problem was in the summer, we didn't replace David Moyes for better. We basically got an alternative version of him. So we kind of made a sideways move. I mean, there could be an argument there to say the statistics over the past or during Lopetegui's era, he did improve him in areas in terms of more shots on target, more possession, more passes. So we did improve in areas, but we weren't getting results. And it was frustrating to see us be frustrated on the pitch. And it was quite evident that the players were not playing for the manager because there was a complete mood shift as the season went on and on and on. And it was just becoming, of course, quite negative. And the fan base clocked it very, very early on in Lopetegui. So sadly, it was never going to work. But if you're asking me the question of David Moyes taking over, I think we would have been in exactly the same position. We would have probably got some more results than what we already had, but we wouldn't have been improving the type of football that we've been playing. I mean, Potter has had to revert to type in terms of low block sort of tactics, but he's had to do that to make sure that we steer ourselves away from that bottom 6. So we took that on the head. But with Potter, I think there is a plan in place that I can get behind now. There's a manager that understands the fan base, understands the job he's got in hand, and I think that the impatient side of being a fan of watching West Ham has gone now, and I think it's just about right. Okay, let's see what he can build for next season. So this is what the rest of the season is pretty much an extended pre-season now. But from what he's worked with for the past 2.5 weeks, not had any of his players. He's had injuries on his. Lopetegui never really had an injury problem in terms of key players. Potter's come in, Bowen's injured, Fulkrug's injured. We've had Antonio injured, so it's he's not had to work with them at all throughout his career. But when these players start getting fit and getting back, and with additions, I think he could probably get a good tune out of the squad. So I'm looking forward to next season already, but I'm looking forward to see what the rest of the season has in store in terms of moulding the squad into playing a certain way. So what's your thoughts from being an Arsenal point of view?
Well, I don't know. I just want to ask a quick question. I know it's early doors, but you're sort of touching on next year, and obviously you said you sort of liked what you're seeing so far. So what would your expectations be finish next year, or whereabouts do you want to see yourself under him?
I mean, next season, it's always, if you're outside the top 6, you always want to be best of the rest. So you always want to be first out of 14. And it's great timing because I've invited someone very, very in the know in West Ham, and that is Sean Whetstone. So I'm just adding him to the stage. So you can ask this question to Sean. Hi, Sean. How you getting on?
Yeah, good.
Hello, Sean.
Hello, Sean.
Hey.
So I'd like to introduce Sean to those that haven't come across him. I'm sure a lot of West Ham fans have. But Sean is the host of More Than Just a Podcast. And he is, how can I put it, been labelled a stooge at times in the best possible way. But he's very, very switched on in terms of West Ham topics and discussions and finances and transfers and everything in the know. But he's also, most importantly, he joins this group as a dad. So Sean, let's just introduce you and tell the rest of the public what you're about and about your family life, and let's talk about West Ham.
Yeah, although most of mine are grown up now. So I'm a dad of 4, 2 stepchildren, and just got married for the second time. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. Just in Mexico. So just come back.
Jealous. Very nice. Yeah, throw that one in there.
Yeah. It's on my bucket list, Mexico.
It was good, yeah, in Cancun. So we just come back, all 6 of us. So yeah, my oldest is 21. She's a paramedic daughter. And then my son's just doing his A-levels. He's a big West Ham fan, season ticket holder next to me in the West End. He's just doing his A-levels and about to go to university to do astrophysics. And my 2 stepdaughters, one's at Oxford doing medical science, and the other one's 15, just doing GCSEs. So I've got past that stage of doing school runs. 3 of them drive, which I taught them all to drive. So it becomes a lot more liberating as a dad when you when they can drive you. And often my son drives me to the station for football. So that's good now.
That's it.
You've taught them well by sounds, but you trained them well.
I taught them all to drive as well. They didn't have driving instructors. So yeah.
Wow.
And most of them come to West Ham. Most
That's
of them. My son is a season ticket holder, but my other 3 daughters do come to West Ham on occasion. They're not as passionate as my son about football, but they do come to now again to a game, as does my wife occasionally. But she's American, so it's soccer to her.
I was going to say the taxi service has role reversed now, whereas you was always the taxi driver. Now it's like you can go out and enjoy a beer, and now they've got to pick you up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's brilliant. So we was touching on about West Ham just now, about how Graham Potter has rejuvenated the West Ham squad in such a short space of time. And one of the key players that we mentioned was Paquetá, in terms of he's just come out to be a fantastic footballer that or shown the glimpses that we saw very early on in his West Ham career. What's your thoughts on Potter at the moment in terms of coming in week 3 of his West Ham career?
Well, look, he's saying all the right things. You know, it's good to hear him in the press conference. I did like him having a go at the press today. You know, they do ask some stupid questions. You know, you think I've never gone to those press conferences. I've been invited for it on occasion, but they're not worth it because they just, I don't know, what they're prepared to ask and what they do ask are often a waste of time. But look, he's saying all the right things. You know, he's got a degree in psychology and all this lot. The issue is, if you look at last week, game of two halves, you saw the first half when, against Villa, we looked like we were going backwards. It was potentially worse than Lopetegui. And then you look at the second half and you see a glimpse of it. If truth be known, we're a fickle bunch. It's too early to say. Well, I'll tell you, I'm not Potter's biggest fan. I know a lot of Chelsea fans. Growing up in Surrey, right? Chelsea hotbed. And, they don't rate him as a manager. A long time ago, and I won't name, but someone on the board thought that Graham Potter I'm not commenting. Graham Potter had been flattered by the recruitment policy at Brighton, with Tony Bloom's recruitment. It's like the secret formula for Coca-Cola or KFC. He keeps it locked in a safe. His secret formula. I don't know enough about the man, of what he did in Swansea,
Sweden,
and what he did in Sweden. I don't know enough about the man. But look, I got told they hope he stays in the next 5 to 10 years. Karen Brady put her neck out for this. She managed him, so she didn't manage him. She was managing director of him when he was a player at Birmingham City. Her husband obviously was his teammate. They know each other. They know they're not best friends, but they're as couples they've had dinner parties together. So they are known. But Karen Brady put her neck out to sign Graham Potter, and she got her way. And let's hope. I always say the king is dead, long live the king. Would he have been my first choice? Possibly not. But let's see how it goes.
Do you think he's going to get the 5 to 10 years?
No, I don't think he'll get in the next 5 to 10 years.
Why? Do you think because he won't be good enough, or do you think because his head will be turned?
I think no Premier League manager gets 5 to 10 years. Let's be honest. It's all about results nowadays. So I just don't think it will happen. And you're right. If he's successful, his head will be turned and he'll go somewhere else. And if he doesn't, then we'll just get bored of him and he'll get the sack.
I never really considered that. When he come in, I thought, that it kind of makes me more excited to be a West Ham fan now, because I can see that there's a longevity behind it. But now that you've kind of planted the seed to say, no, he might not last 5 years, I'm kind of a bit worried about it now.
I might be wrong, but it's a results game, isn't it? And we see this in not just West Ham, we see this across the Premier League. The average tenure is 18 months of a Premier League manager now. So the days of Johnny Lyle and sticking by managers when you get relegated are long gone. You get close to that relegation, you're done. And look at Lopetegui. I mean, Lopetegui was sacked in 14th. We were never going to get relegated, and yet fan power meant that we got rid of him mid-season. We paid £5 million in compensation for his backroom team and him. Paid £1.5 million for this Carl recruitment guy to come in. Probably paying another £1.5 million to get rid of Tim Steidham when all's said and done. It's a lot of money when you should go, well, actually, could you just hold your nerve and wait to the end of the season with Lopetegui? And we never know now. But
so do you think that all that money going out is going to stop you signing Evan Ferguson?
Do you know what? It's an interesting one. If you watched Graham Potter today, he basically told you that he's the blocker of signing anyone. He said signing players are easy, and he's right. There's 100 agents all offering their players. Signing the right player is difficult.
I saw that.
Even Ferguson. Okay, so if it's a straight loan with an option to buy, fine. If it's an obligation to buy, I'd be a bit more nervous. If you look at his injury record, he's got these recurring ankle injuries. I'm not convinced we should be spending a reported 40 million obligation to buy.
Could be another Andy Carroll.
It could be, yeah. So option to buy, yes. 6 months be great. Obligation to buy depends what the obligation is, right? If it's 20 goals, yeah, absolutely. If it's 5 appearances like Tadibo, I'd say no.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'd
because there's
rather
been a
go because
history.
Bowen's coming back, right? Let's be honest, Bowen's coming back, and this is the problem, right? We don't just want. I mean, Fulkrug wasn't even getting a game anyway, so you Ferguson don't want to come in and just sit on the bench if Bowen's fit and he don't get a game. So or just come on as a super sub. So he want as much guaranteed game time as any manager can give him. There's no such thing as guaranteed game time. But
do you think Potter's going to be a manager that buys in his squad, or do you think he's going to rely on what is he going to try and bleed in the youth team as well, or do you think
I think there's a very good chance he signs no one on Monday, by Monday, and we just carry on. And he does his spending in the summer when he can do a lot more research. Carl's come in, the recruitment will do, and he'll just say, well, do you know what? With Bowen coming back, Tadibo coming back in 4 weeks, I can probably struggle through with a little bit of the youth. I mean, we've looked at Ollie Scarles, looks good. He could probably rely on some of that youth, but let's be honest, everybody was calling for Freddie Potts to come back from Portsmouth. We had the option to do it by the 15th of Jan, and Graham Potter said no. Why did he say no? Because he knows he's better off staying at Portsmouth getting absolute game time, because if he'd come back to West Ham, he'd sat on the bench and not get game time.
Yeah, it's an area of the pitch that we're quite overloaded in, aren't we? Like we've got Alvarez, Rodriguez, Souček, Soler. You've got Andy Irving as well. Like we're quite stacked in that position, aren't we? So to bring a youth player back and we're struggling to get rid of what we've got anyway in the middle of the park by the sounds of it. Yeah. So to bring a youth player back, and then if we can't get rid of our senior player, then he's going to just fester in the squad, isn't he? I think it's a good decision keeping him in the Championship. Like we're not going to lose out by bringing him back too early. But we've got other players that are in the Championship. You've got George Murphy, and then you've got obviously in League One you've got Callum Marshall and Sean Moore that's just gone to Colchester again. Gideon Kadua, who I've heard could leave on a permanent. But so the academy is very, 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 very.
But it just shows you. I mean, look at Harrison, Story. It's not worked out for him. Look at Sonny Perkins. Just been looking at the whole Sonny Perkins. Obviously leaving Leeds. And going to Leyton Orient, dropping down a division. The grass is not always green on the other side, and a lot of the times where we don't, these people who want first team wages, the judgment at West Ham's often right. None of them have really gone on, and made it big, have they? Could you name one player that's sort of refused to sign a contract and gone on to do big things? I can't think of one. Not in recent times, anyway.
Yeah, I think Mbama probably is the most recent one, isn't he? And he got an FA Cup appearance and a goal, but he's
but where is he now? I know where he is now, but he hasn't really moved on with his career.
No, and I don't think he's going to dispossess Haaland, is he? In their position, and they've just signed the next Mohamed Salah as well for like £47 million. So again, he's further down the pecking order.
I think Mbama will just get sold on to another club before.
I think so. Yeah.
Making his regular appearances for Man City, if I'm honest with you.
Do you think you'll have any exits? Do you reckon anyone's going to be leaving before Monday?
No, I'm told Tadibo will not go whatever happens, and Irvine could go. But
Blackburn was mooted, wasn't it?
I mean, Glermy was the other one, but I've been told we want that money back. We want the full amount of money back, which was 23 million euros, 19.5 million pound. He's not going to Saudi on the cheap. We paid 19.5 million as the transfer fee. No add-ons have been operated, and we want the minimum of that back. If we get that back, we don't have to pay the sell-on fee, because sell-on fee is only on profit. So, no, I don't really. Apart from a few announcements, I think there was one today about people going on loan. I'm not really expecting anyone. I mean, you lay in hope that someone would take Danny Ings off us, but I don't see that happening. Guys, I've got 2 more minutes. I've got to shoot, unfortunately.
No, that's fine, mate. No, I appreciate you coming on, Sean, at such short notice. Where was you before? No, what did you do this evening?
I was out actually doing. So my youngest was doing an open evening at school. She was showing people around at school, and picking up my wife from the station. So that's why I've been out tonight.
It was a taxi service again.
I was back as a taxi service. Yeah.
It's gone full circle. Just you get there, it's like, oh shit, back again.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we won't keep much more of your time. Let's contact again in the future, and we'll do like a proper episode with you. And it'd be great.
No
Great to do it properly.
All right, cheers guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Sean.
Sean, thanks, mate.
Thank you. Bye.
There you go. Wonderful Sean Whetstone there dropping in and saying hello. I'd say it was really insightful to get his opinions on West Ham. He's, out of anyone that knows the West Ham, has direct links with the club senior board, senior source, he's going to know. And so obviously that kind of puts to bed any real sort of transfer going ons that are happening. I mean, again, it's all speculation, it's all rumours. I mean, let's touch back onto the Evan Ferguson situation, where if it's possible that we do sign him on loan with an option, I think that's probably the best scenario for now all round.
The thing is,
and I think it's an injury worry, isn't it?
The thing is,
we had that
still
conversation last week, didn't we?
Yeah,
because you were trying to sell him to Arsenal last week.
Yeah.
The thing is,
he's injured.
The thing is, it's still early days. It's still early days because ultimately it all comes down to who's available, isn't it? And who buys who, and triggers another one who triggers another one who. It's that domino effect, isn't it? If no one makes a movement, then no one's going to get bought, and it's going to be a quiet window, or it's not going to be an active day. But for instance, if Arsenal was to trigger something, then they might have to buy, which means that you might have to sell, which they have to buy, and then it becomes exciting. So ultimately, it comes down to who wants to throw the first punch, isn't it, or put their money where their mouth is. So.
I still think Arsenal could buy 2 players.
Who's 2 you think?
I still think Arsenal could. I think Arsenal will sign Naipan. Am I saying his name correctly?
This sounds good to me.
I have no idea who this geezer is.
I just know as the Norwegian wonder kid. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
You're trying to unearth the next Odegaard then?
He's a left eight. No, he's a left eight. He's more of like a. He's very skillful, but he can carry the ball as well. So he's got excellent qualities. I
think Man United are in for him, aren't they, as well?
Man, everyone's trying to sign him, Cal.
Yeah.
But then I think I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal went back in for Ollie Watkins.
How much do you reckon they offer second time round?
Well, Ollie Watkins is 29, and I had this conversation with Adam on WhatsApp the other day, and he said, you were talking about Ollie Watkins being too old, right? And I said, well, we signed Aubameyang when he was 28, and Ollie Watkins is 5 months older than Aubameyang was when we signed him. Ian Wright was 28 or 29 when we signed him.
I think he was
from Palace, and he went on to be our record goal scorer at the time. So I don't really subscribe to the age issue, because I don't think age is an issue nowadays as much, because you look at some of the players that are still banging in goals in top leagues, like Lewandowski, for example. Harry Kane.
I was about to say, would you pay 60 million for Harry Kane?
Mate, yes.
70 million for Harry Kane. And he's 30. What is he? 31 now.
I'd pay 70 million for him as well. Yeah, I would. But
I think that's more. I think that's more of a spiteful transfer that you'd love, because he
would score goals. He would score goals. But I think
me and Rob were talking about this on the weekend. Yeah,
I think
Imagine we signed Harry Kane. Yeah, One, just for shirt sales. Could you imagine it? Yeah, going away to Tottenham, everyone rocking up in Harry Kane shirts. Yeah. And then secondly, could you imagine the next Google, whatever you call it, thingy with Sol Campbell and Harry Kane rocking up in red shirts?
Honestly, I mean, I would love it. I'd be here for it. But I do think Ollie Watkins is a very good fit for Arsenal. And I think that he can do the things, and we had the chat about Arsenal need someone who can do what Havertz can do, but can also score more goals, which is probably fair, even though I am a Havertz fanboy. But he can do all of the things that Havertz can do. He can press, he can play, but he's a better finisher. So Ollie Watkins for me makes sense. And now that, Aston Villa are sitting on 100, 90 million quid or whatever, 90 million euros, and then potentially more money, that would give them they're linked to a player in the German league, I think. And they're also linked to João Felix. That would give them 2 new forwards. So, stranger things have happened, and maybe Arsenal could go back in for Ollie Watkins. I do think that Arsenal could go in for Tell at Bayern Munich.
I actually saw that Spurs are putting a £60 million bid for Tell.
I've also seen that he was waiting to see if Man United and Arsenal were going to come in before he answered to them.
Oh, what's that out there? Oh, it's a pig fly. That's right. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't think he'll go Tottenham. I don't think he'll go there. I think
that's a sinking ship. I could see them being big trouble.
Spurs. Well, yeah, they could easily get drifted in.
I think they're getting sucked in. I think they're getting sucked in bad.
Even if they sacked Ange Postecoglou, like, who are they going to bring in to get them out of that shtuck?
Or who would want to
Sean Dyche, mate. Sean Dyche, get the boy in.
Oh, can you imagine?
They would be so angry at that, wouldn't they?
I'd love that.
Oh, it would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
But it's not an Spurs podcast. Sorry, guys. As much as we want to laugh at them, but the one thing I want to touch on is obviously the 2 links that we've got. Ferguson or Watkins. I mean, Watkins is reportedly about £65 million to get with Arsenal, but Ferguson is available for 40. I mean, what one would you prefer out of the 2? Obviously, fitness aside.
Watkins.
Okay.
Watkins. Do you know why? Because you know what you're buying with Watkins and you know what you're getting. Ferguson, I have no doubt that he's talented, right? But we have not seen enough. We have seen everything of Watkins and know exactly what Watkins will do. And what Watkins will do is score goals in that Arsenal team. So 3 years for Watkins, yes, 100%. I that's not because I dislike Ferguson. I'd take them both, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm definitely choosing Watkins. I think Ferguson because I like the idea that he's in that kind of Harry Kane, Lewandowski mold. But Watkins is. Do you know what? It's not fair on Watkins, right? But Watkins, like I said, he does what Havertz does. Yeah, and he kind of drifts into the left and drifts into the wings, and he can play through those channels a bit like Isak. So he's almost like, and it's not fair to say this. It is not fair to say this, but he's almost like a poor man's Isak, but still better and suitable to what Arsenal would need him to do. And I don't mean that, and it sounds like a criticism. I'm not trying to drag him down, but can you kind of see what I'm trying to say there?
Yeah. I can understand it. Is that Isak would be the ideal. It sounds like the ideal replacement or ideal fit for Arsenal to get Alexander Isak in, but realistically, you're not going to pay £150 million for him.
But Watkins is similar, but good.
But Watkins could
just hold out.
Sorry, Adam.
What for Isak? What for Isak? You mean?
Yeah.
If Newcastle don't qualify for Europe or Champions League, then there's a chance.
Join the queue, I think.
Yeah,
that's 100%. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, but then I suppose was the Odegaard and Mikel Merino signings tactful signings? Zubimendi, was that a tactful transfer to lure Isak in eventually. It's that possibility, isn't it? Because they all played with each other, didn't they?
Right.
But
do you think Watkins they let him go? I can't see Aston Villa letting him go.
I think they could. I think that by the sounds of it, they need to sell, and obviously
I also think that
Duran's going to Saudi Arabia for 75 million.
If they've made 130 million, they could bring in 2 strikers. They already want João Felix.
They could get Isak, couldn't they?
No.
Got to pay the extra.
He ain't going.
Yeah, but they could do, couldn't they?
He won't go Villa.
He's in they're in Champions League now. They're in Champions League now, aren't they?
Sideways step.
Yeah, but yeah, like I say, it's if Villa put up the money and have
Newcastle are a better team.
there.
I don't see that. I just don't see that.
Newcastle have more prospects, I think, purely because of who they're owned by. But Aston Villa are in Champions League now. If they spent £130 million on Isak with the Duran and Watkins money, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, it's an interesting sort of take on it. But yeah, that's it could happen. It could not.
I think Emery really wants to go to Nottingham
Forest. Yeah, I think he will. We will go that route. He will go that route. Again, does it fit? I don't think it does.
No.
How much do you reckon Arsenal have to offer to get him?
Well, apparently, I can answer that. It was mooted that Arsenal had offered 60 million. That's not correct, apparently. That's the starting point where Aston Villa would have had a conversation. Apparently, Arsenal offered closer to 40.
Yeah, I heard that.
I don't understand why Arsenal do it. Why? Well, it's just a liberty, isn't it?
Yeah, but have you never seen The Life of Brian? That's not how you barter, mate. You start low and then you work your way around till you find out where you're going to have to pay.
Yeah, you start low and then end up paying 80 million.
Yeah, but if Villa turned around and said it's 100 million, then you try and get them to 80, don't you? Like,
you done the whole thing with Rice, didn't you? You offered us 75, we basically laughed it off, and then you offered 80, and then you offered 90, and then we ended up agreeing 105. So it's
and even then we owe you money.
Yeah, you could say that, but he still ain't won nothing, though, has he?
No. He's in the Champions League, though, isn't he?
Oh yeah, they get a medal for that. Just participate, participation rosettes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. You keep looking up.
Put his egg. Hasn't he?
You keep looking up.
On that note, Ferguson or Watkins, I think the unanimous decision there for Arsenal was Watkins. For me as a West Ham fan, and touching on what Sean Whetstone said, there's no risk with Ferguson, in my opinion. I think you go out and buy him. It's talking silly money. You're talking absolutely silly money with strikers nowadays. Like Duran's going to Saudi Arabia for 75. Mitoma's been linked to Saudi Arabia today for £80 million.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
Martinelli, by the way.
Yeah, you got Watkins that's been linked with a move to Arsenal for 65. Then you've got Isak 150. Solanke went to Spurs for 60. I think if you buy Ferguson for 35 million plus 5 million add-ons, which has been the reported sum agreed between West Ham and Brighton, pending an option to buy from the loan, that is peanuts. That is peanuts in relevance to what a proven number 9 striker is. He's only 20. He's had a couple of injuries. I think he's had one bad injury, and that was a cruciate ligament, and that is it.
Yeah, but you say that that's a hell of an injury to have, Adam.
Yeah, he's slowly coming back, but he come back from it. He had a run of games, and then he's got an ankle problem. So an ankle problem seems to be a recurring thing with him.
Yeah, so was Jack Wilshere.
There's a similar player that has got constant ankle injuries, and that's Harry Kane. But it didn't stop him scoring goals, did it? So I think when you compare Ferguson to Harry Kane at 20 years of age, I think Ferguson has got much more potential. Madness. Well, Ferguson does have more. Ferguson does have more potential than Watkins, doesn't he? Because bear in mind, Watkins played at Exeter and then Brentford, and then he went to Villa, and then. But Ferguson, he's burst on the scene at 18 for Brighton, scoring goals, touted for moves from Man United for 80 million quid, even at 18. So I think people are kind of a bit windy of the fact that he's got a few injuries, but I don't think those injuries are career-threatening injuries. I think you just need to manage them and make sure he gets match fit. That's my opinion on it. I think 35 million quid. I think it's an absolute steal for someone of his quality. It's a no-brainer.
So do you think Arsenal?
If Arsenal can't get Watkins, I wouldn't be upset if we signed Ferguson. I just don't think he's a level raiser right now.
I think West Ham's probably his next step, and I think if we bought him right, I said this on the Instagram post. I think West Ham signing Ferguson is as important as Arsenal signing Rice, because it is a legacy type signing. It's a legacy type signing where you could build your entire team around him over the next 7 to 10 years. And I think £35 million now. If we keep him that long, but there's no reason why we can't. But if the right offer comes in, then he goes. But if he's playing well and people are after him, then he's done a good job, hasn't he? So we benefit both ways. But I think he's the type of player you just bring in and you build your squad around that. And to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Of all the names that we've been linked with in the past, like Callum Wilson, Andre Silva on loan, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who I actually quite like, but they're not legacy players. Whereas Ferguson, I think, you know what, like, it's exciting because it's like, right, it reminds me of West Ham signing like Dean Ashton, because proven goal scorer, and you built your team to feed him and get the benefits out of him. Sadly, one injury kind of ruined his whole career when he was out for England, but never been the same player since. For me, I think for West Ham, Ferguson. I think for Arsenal, Watkins, because you need someone now. That's my take on it.
So if Watkins was to come to Arsenal now, how many goals would he have to score for it to be a successful move? Or how many goals? Hold on, how many goals would he have to score between now and the end of the season for it to be a successful move?
I think 10, 15.
Yeah, it's got to be that range, isn't it?
10, 15. If it's 10, I think that's a success because it's less than half a season. Like I say, it's less than 19 games, isn't it? So if you're getting a goal every 2 games, I think that's pretty good return, personally. And they're probably goals that you need are in and around Saka and Nweri and Odegaard and that, and Martinelli. I think if he adds 10 goals to that tally already, I think that's pretty good for Arsenal. That's going to win more games than lose.
Do you think he's going to want to leave Aston Villa? You say he's in the Champions.
I also think, just to touch on that, I also think that Havertz could score that as well, which is why I'm thinking maybe Arsenal aren't going to be bullied, because Havertz could equally score 10, 15 goals between now and the end of the season. He's already matched his tally from last season, and I think it's like 25 games less or something. So I do think
Havertz and Watkins.
Then you're if you're playing them both in the same game, then that's also quite interesting. But then you're looking at maybe a change in style, and January might not be the time to do that. However, Ollie Watkins can drift in from the left, so that could be an interesting dynamic too. But you won't get defensive qualities out of Watkins like you do out of Martinelli. So, but yeah,
that's a fair point.
Interesting.
Do you think he'd want to move? Do you think he'd want to leave Aston Villa right now? Do you think?
Yes, he's an Arsenal fan. Yes, he's an Arsenal 100%. Fan. He's an Arsenal fan.
Of course, you'd go to Arsenal. Of course, you'd go to Arsenal. You're still in contention for a Premier League trophy. I know it's a bit of a long shot, but you're still there. And even next season, you'd still be there. And even the season after that, you'd still be there. So, whereas Aston Villa, when are they ever really going to be challenging for a Premier League trophy? And will they be in Champions League next year? It's all up for debate, isn't it? They're having a really good season at the minute, but as we predicted in our podcast, episode 2, when we was doing the season predictions, we always said Aston Villa would go a stronger in Champions League, but then they'd peter off in the Premier League. And now the further that they're going in the Champions League, their focus in the Premier League is Champions League. The focus in the Premier League is starting to drift off. So they haven't got the infrastructure and capacity to compete for both. So they've had to opt for one. So for me, I would have opted for Premier League to try and get Champions League again, because there's no way they're winning Champions League. Not a chance. Not with Arsenal being second favourites. It's and you still got the big boys in there. Man City avoided elimination last night through a strange turn of events in results. Like I think Salzburg lost to Sturm Graz, and then Man City beat Club Bruges, which meant that Club Bruges also qualified despite losing. So it's it's interesting. But yeah, I think if you're Wally Watkins, you go Arsenal in a heartbeat.
He's an Arsenal fan. He'd go.
Yeah, and you think if Ian Wright went to Arsenal at the same age, and he played, how many years did Ian Wright play at Arsenal for?
He was still at Arsenal when he was 35, I think.
Okay, so and he got over about 120 goals for Arsenal?
No, I think he scored 179. He broke the record.
Yeah,
didn't he?
179.
Oh, 179. So if he scored
179 was the record, and he
At
broke
that time.
that.
Oh,
So-
okay. I wasn't 18. It wasn't 182. I think was a figure, wasn't it? Because didn't he have the
No, I
shirt?
think
No,
it was 179, wasn't it?
Yeah, 179
okay.
was the shirt. Yeah, and he took it off too early.
Oh, did he?
Off the game, he took it off a goal too early.
Oh, okay.
And he
scored a
scored
hat-trick,
twice in
didn't
that game, and then he
He
took
scored
off
twice that game. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do remember that now. Yeah, but if Ollie Watkins signed in January and then scored 150 goals for Arsenal in 5 years, is that a good investment for 65 million?
100%.
There you go.
100%.
There you go. Because he could do that. He could
But
do that.
I also want to just say, I don't think he would be the main man at Arsenal, though. So I don't think Arsenal sign him and then it's like signing Lewandowski or anything like that. I don't think we'd be signing. I do think that he would be a rotation risk. I don't think that he would start every game. I don't think he would be like a number 9 or whatever like that. Like, I don't think he would be untouchable. Because I don't think he is, although he's a good striker, he's not, for example, better than Saka is as a winger. He's not better than Odegaard is as a midfielder, or Saliba is as a defender. Does that make sense? So it's not like we'd be signing the new best player in our team. We'd be signing a good player who fits within the system of our team.
or gives us another option. Yeah,
He could be the best late bloomer that would ever grace the Premier League, couldn't he?
You could also be right about that as well, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if we sign him. I genuinely wouldn't. But we should probably wrap it up there.
Yeah, I was just going to touch on your predictions for this upcoming game week. I mean, you've got who've Arsenal got this weekend, boys?
Man City.
Man City.
Fucking hell.
Can I just
That's
say
an argument,
quickly then? I think Arsenal will beat them. And I said last time we talked about Man City that they celebrated hanging on, and in the first fixture of this season, and they made a mockery of us for celebrating a draw at the Etihad, I think, last season. And I said we were celebrating catching up. And in the first game of this season, they were celebrating holding on. And I really believe that Arsenal could and should beat them. If they don't, that would be hugely disappointing. Thankfully, I'm working and I won't be able to watch the game because I cannot cope with that kind of stress.
No, that's true. Rob could not cope with that sort of stress. It'd be all over the game.
Stay humble, alert. Stay humble.
Yeah, mate.
Gabriel, I'm telling you right now, Gabriel wants this match so much. I wouldn't be surprised if he scored a hat-trick of corners. Like, he's desperate to play against Haaland, isn't he? And I love that winning mentality because he wants to prove himself against the very best. And Gabriel, Saliba are going to be so up for playing against Haaland because they're going to want him. They're going to really want him. And none of them are going to be happy about what he said to Arteta.
No. And also just throwing the ball. No, I'm not being funny, mate. That's assault anywhere else. If you went and throw a bottle at someone or throw something, that's assault. Right. And he got away with it. You talk about another decision that the FA or whoever got wrong. Like, that's another one, just throwing it out there. Like, you can't just go throwing balls at anyone. That's ridiculous. Remember that? What was it in the World Cup game that he threw a ball at him and he got sent off for it? Do you remember? It was like Roberto. Who was it? Roberto or
Rivaldo's face.
Rivaldo.
That is it. Do you remember? He got sent off for that.
World Cup semi-final v Turkey.
Yeah, he got sent off for that.
Geezer kicked it at Rivaldo and his knee, and he went down holding his face.
Yeah,
I remember that.
But yeah, I just think that game's going to be epic. I think that it's a shame you're working because I do think that's going to be a spectacle, because I think that's just it's all going to be going off. There's going to be things off the ball. There's going to be pushing and shoving. There'll be kicking. It'd be like the old Arsenal Man United games where, I mean, I know Man City are nowhere near it, but like them games where it was like, well, whoever wins this goes on to win the league or has a better chance of winning the league. It's almost like it has that sort of aura about it and that sort of nastiness about it, doesn't it? And I just think it's going to be, a fantastic game to watch. But and then you've got Chelsea, haven't
you? Yeah. Well, what's your result for Arsenal Man City, by the way?
Go on, Rob.
2-0.
We are at home as well.
2-0, Gabriel and Havertz.
I really want to go quite high. I want to go that we absolutely demolish them, but we're nasty, and I'm going to go 4-0.
Nwaneri hat trick.
I'm gonna say 1-0, and it'll be a case of Arsenal holding on.
Yeah, it could be.
Another red card.
Another red card.
To be fair, knowing our luck this year, we'll probably end up losing 4-0. Like the goalkeeper gets sent off or something stupid, and then like fucking Abbott goes in goal or something, and we hold on.
I think it'll go 1-0 Man City. They'll get a red card, and then you'll get an equaliser. That's how I see it going.
Like a mirror of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. I can see it going that way because I could see. It just feels that way because you're so evenly matched, really, in terms of the way you play. I just think they've had a few off seasons in terms of just off games by not winning in 9, which is completely threw them out of the Premier League.
Your mic is all over the place. It's like fuzzy.
No, it's yours, mate.
It's yours. No.
Is it right now?
Where's my Sean Dyche alert?
Dude, mute yourself.
Shall I log off?
That's
Mute
right.
yourself.
For
a second.
Just muted him. Sorry, Cal. So I could see Man City getting a result at the Emirates. Keep saying the Etihad Emirates. Both owned by different airline companies. Nice footwork, feet. Nice footwork there. Excellent.
Nice feet,
Cool. You got toes like got toes like knickknacks and toenails like quavers. All right. Okay. So we'll touch on West Ham then. So West Ham have got a Monday night game against Chelsea at Chelsea on transfer deadline day. So it's going to be quite challenging. I think Chelsea are there for a taking. But they haven't been great. But we're starting to get into our form. And I just really, really like the way that we're playing. And I think Potter goes back to Chelsea. So who knows? I think we could grab a draw out of it.
I think Chelsea will concede.
Yeah, they're 100% concede. I think their defence is not great. But Maresca, interesting fact, Maresca used to be a coach at West Ham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, used to coach the first team squad years and years ago. So now, there's a bit of a Potter goes back to Chelsea and Maresca manages against West Ham, his old club. So it'd be an interesting sort of take. I think it'll be a 1-0. I don't see us winning. There was an interesting stat that come out on Twitter today that the only 2 managers that have got wins at Stamford Bridge in 23 years was Glenn Roeder and Manuel Pellegrini.
Bloody hell.
Eye opener. Yep. So West Ham have not had a good stomping. Stamford Bridge has not been a good stomping ground for West Ham. So unless Graham Potter decides to if he gets a win at Chelsea, I think he's done he'll be forever in that list of Roeder and Pellegrini. This is
great
This is
company.
quite strange. Great company. What's your predictions, Rob?
I think West Ham will score goals. I think the low block will nullify Palmer, which will stop Chelsea playing, and I think that you guys will win 2-1.
Right, okay.
You're welcome.
Okay. 2-1. Nice one. Okay, well that wraps up this week's episode of Dad's Our Job, where we've streamed live from a zero studio audience. So just to those that are that are catching the end of this, I mean, I'll be doing a live stream on Monday, doing a reactions to the West Ham Chelsea game, and also seeing out the transfer window. So just join us. Come in, comment. If you want to join them for a chat, you're more than welcome. It'd be great. It'd be great to do that. So always till next time. So Rob, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Let's hope for a very fair weekend of football.
Very fair.
No PGMOL messing around.
No cards, no yellows, no reds, nothing. Just no cards. A card-free weekend. That'd be
no
fantastic.
main character syndrome referees. Just let the footballers do the talking, please.
Brilliant. All right, then, guys. Now, thanks for watching, and we'll be in touch soon. See you later.
Take care.